So these words from the Sky GM turned out to be prescient. This was in the offseason after they had signed, Azare Stevens and Skylar Diggins, and people wondered why a player at Skylar's point in her career currently would be going to a franchise like the Chicago Sky where they are.
I don't want to deal with Skylar Diggins every night, right? If she doesn't have players that she can go to war with.
So they've essentially taken themselves out of the Juju Watkins and Sarah Strong sweepstakes. Not to mention, there has been talk about how the franchise is run in the past. There was the Angel Reese situation and how that came to an ugly divorce. And now you're starting to see the relationship fray between the Sky and Skylar Diggins already. She just got there, but she posted some stuff on her IG.
And the crazy part about it all is that I've been so quiet. I've been so good and quiet. I've been so good and quiet.
I've been so good and quiet. That indicates there's more tea to be spilled. Obviously, she's not happy with any potential role change. There are different standards for different players in the league, it seems like, and what is acceptable to do and get away with and what is not. And then there's also, the other player who is probably most prominently involved here. Basically, it said that, coming off an ACL, Vandersloot's too old to be relied on. I'm paraphrasing what she said, but that was the gist of what she said at the point guard spot, which Sloot took offense to. And then there's been a lot of dialogue back and forth, and Courtney Vandersloot, say what you want, she's a WNBA legend. But she's averaging 8 points and 6 assists, something like that. And now it seems that they must be thinking of moving her to the starting lineup, would be my guess, based on what Skylar Diggins shared. You also have to take into account the emergence of Sydney Taylor, who has been really, really good for Chicago for the most part this year. That's a player that they're looking to develop. You obviously have Gabriella Jaquez, who's the rookie that they're also trying to develop. Rickea Jackson is out for the season, unfortunately. I mean, perhaps Natasha Cloud could play into this too. She played 34 minutes the other day. There are flaws on this team. I mean, Azare Stevens is a good stretch big, but not a defensive stalwart. Camila Cardoso has been very efficient with her shot in recent games, not the most recent game, but the couple of contests prior to that. but I don't think that's the style of player you're going to build winning basketball around today, funneling the ball into the block, who can't guard on the perimeter on the other side. So there are definitely problems and issues to discuss with the Chicago Sky, but they just got put on blast. And now Tyler Marsh is going to have to address what Skylar Diggins said. Eventually, the finger has to point to the front office and Jeff P there as the GM, of course, right? Like that's where the buck has to stop. And maybe the consistent pattern of players being upset, of these things reaching this level, is also enough to and how she handled this and decided to put them on blast publicly in that regard. Because if moving her to the bench is the decision, that is not exactly the worst thing that's ever happened to any player, particularly a player whatever interpretation of all of that you want to take. But definitely some turbulence for the Chicago Sky as they're getting set to host All-Star Weekend too. To the apparent shift to the bench from Skylar Diggins. Again, the team has to confirm it, but I'm imagining she didn't do that whole Instagram rant or whatever you want to call it for nothing. And now the Sky have